Hey everybody, this is Troy Alexander, Inspiration with Troy Alexander. I am so excited tonight. We have an amazing guest, but before we get to her, listen, every week we come on to encourage you. Every time we have a broadcast, we come on to encourage you to never give up on your dream. Our motto is dream, take that step and walk with purpose into your destiny. I'm so excited tonight. And listen, every point of purpose that we try to share is to uplift you and to let you know you are worth every dream. I talked about the seed on one of the other broadcasts to let you know, listen, it is the time that the seed is buried that it begins to gain root and its strength, so that when it comes up to the light, it has something to hold on to. So I'm so excited, y'all. So no matter, it might not look like it's working out, might not look like things are happening, but continue to build and believe and never doubt, and know that something greater is coming after this. Listen, stay connected with us, y'all. We're on Facebook, Troy Alexander. We're on Instagram. I love taking photos at Troy Alexander Photo, and YouTube, Inspiration with Troy Alexander. So tonight, we have an amazing guest. I'm so honored that she took the time out to be with us on tonight. Listen, she is an author, everybody. Yes, that talks about anthropology. I can't wait to talk about that. And she's working on her second book. Yes, y'all, I'm telling you, listen, she's on the dean's list while also participating in track and field while in college. Listen, she's majoring in mental health and psychology. Wow, listen, she enjoys expressing her faith in God through ministry of dance and more. Listen, she is the New Day Associates 25th International Beauty of the Year. She's also a model, has been published in magazine 6 times, y'all. I said it, and guess what? I'm sure the 7th is about to come too. Listen, she is also recognized as the 2022 Best Teen Runway Model of the Year. I said it, of the year. Listen, she is the CEO of Eliza Marie's Empire that produces vegan-friendly animal cruelty and toxin-free Mango Shae Butter and lemongrass butter. Listen, lemongrass beard butter. For her senior project, she launched her t-shirt, My Mental is Beautiful. I can't wait to talk about that. And has held girls' conferences. Yes, there's more, y'all. Encouraging every girl, young and old, to always embrace just being who they are and to look and feel beautiful inside and out. Let's welcome Eliza Marie Hildreth. How are you, Eliza?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I am awesome and wonderful. Thank you so much. And everybody listen, that was the short version of the bio, just so you know. But I'm telling you, Eliza, I am so excited. But listen, you have had so many wonderful achievements in so many areas that I'm just so excited to talk to you about. But what do you think has been the core or the strength of you that has allowed you to be this amazing and to achieve so many accomplishments? What do you think has been the core of you that has helped you be who you are today?
God.
Wow. Wow, I love it. And tell me more. How did you come into the knowledge that that was the core for you and your foundation of your faith?
I would say I grew up in church. My mom's a minister and a pastor. I grew up in church. I was in church as long as, this is funny. I actually made a video about this on my TikTok today. I grew up in church like my whole life. And I would say I've always known that God is to be at the center of my life at all times, but I'd say coming to college was more of a mindset switch because the school I go to, it's like you're an adult attending school and you have more responsibilities and really everything's on you. No one's telling you to get up. No one's telling you to do this. I live in an apartment by myself, so really no one's telling me to get up and go to class. No one's telling me to get up and go to church. No one's telling me to get up and clean and read my Bible. So I would say last year in college, like it was a mindset switch of like, if I want to do good in life, I need to keep God at the forefront of my life and prioritize my relationship with Him and prioritize building the relationship with Him, whether that's reading my Bible, praying, worshiping Him, regardless of what it is, it needs to be at the forefront of everything I do.
Wow, I love that, Eliza. I love that so much. So Listen, I've been to college. I tried living on campus, didn't work too work too good for me. But because there's so much happening in college, how do you prioritize your relationship and your faith with God? Because there's so much going on in school, right? There's this, there's that event, there's this, they want you. How do you, and you want to build friends and grow in, how do you prioritize that and infuse that relationship in all that you do while doing schoolwork? Y'all, because how many classes do you have now? You have like 6 classes or three, six classes? How many classes do you have now? 6?
Yeah, 6. I'm sorry, can you hear?
Yeah, that's okay. I didn't hear you. That's okay. So you're having 6 classes. I mean, how do you find time to even strengthen that relationship with God and your faith and all that you do?
Um, I would say so. I saw a video of somebody else a while back, and they were basically explaining, they were like, I'm taking 6 classes, working 2 jobs, and I'm
Wow.
an act and prioritize God. There should be no excuse. And so I saw that, and I'm like, I'm taking 6 classes. I'm only running track. I don't have a job.
Wow.
There should be no excuse why I'm not prioritizing God. But also, too, I feel like I have it easier than most college kids. Most college kids, they have campus life at their school. At Wilmington, we don't really have campus life. Like there are no dorms at all, so you're mostly there with your team for most of the part, but you're by yourself with no campus life. So I'd say there's less distractions than a normal typical college would. So there's really no excuse why I'm not getting up and reading my Bible. And it's like on the times where I'm getting sick of doing schoolwork and I'm just sitting there not doing schoolwork, okay, there's really no excuse why you shouldn't be picking up your Bible and reading it because you have all this time. You're just sitting on the couch watching TV. Why don't you read your Bible and spend some time with God? So
I love it. I love it. That's awesome. I have to ask you, did you always have aspirations and dreams and wanting to excel in different areas?
oh, I've always been a dreamer as far as I can imagine. First,
Wow.
I wanted to be a lawyer, then I wanted to be a doctor. I could go on. I was always dreaming about what I wanted to be, what I could be. I always knew that there was potential in me. It was just a matter of where I choose to take it.
Wow. How what would you say has helped you to have that mindset? Because a lot of young people don't even have like big dreams, right? And confidence and so forth. What do you think has been a part of your journey thus far that has helped you to even know that you can even have those dreams?
I'd say my mom's a big part of it, but also the things that I've been through, like growing up, I was always bullied. You don't see them in now, but I have hearing aids and I have learning disabilities. So I think having my mom along through that definitely was a big standpoint, but also looking at like, okay, this stuff does not define me. And my mom made sure like this does not define you. This is who you are. To make sure like I don't let what people say affect me in those things. Because I feel like a lot of times growing up, I did let what people said affect me in some ways. So having my mom around to like really instill like, no, you're not what they say you are. Like you're much more.
Wow, wow. Well, I want to give a applause to your mom because that is so powerful about the people that's in your circle, the people that's around you and inspire you. In those moments where it's just you now, do you tell yourself things? Do you have affirmation that you say to yourself or things that you do daily to help kind of keep you focused on knowing that, you know what, I'm not what they say, I'm who I declare?
I do. I started reading them again the other day, just because I wasn't feeling my best self. After I had a doctor's appointment, I was just being very lazy, I didn't feel like doing anything. So I'd say definitely yes. I feel like my mom has instilled it enough to do it myself that I don't need her to like piggyback behind me and be like, no, you should do this, to make yourself feel better. I think she's helped me through it so much that now I take my own accountability to do it myself.
Wow. Wow. I love that. I love that. Eliza, tell me about anthropology. First of all, for those who may not know what anthropology is. What is anthropology, and what is your fascination with anthropology? To the point, y'all, where she wrote one book and about to write a second book. So what is anthropology, and what is your fascination with it?
So I did not someone named Valerie. I think it's Cooper. I forget how to say her. I forget what her last name is, but her name's Miss Valerie. I call her Miss Val. She's the one who actually organized it and put it together. So it's a book with a whole bunch of young girls that she selected to write a girls empowerment book. But also it's not just for girls. It's written by girls, but boys can take that book and read it and apply it to their own life as themselves and just flip the roles a bit. But she started it herself, and I've always wanted to write a book, and I was always scared to. So she kind of jump started the ship for me a bit and gave me the running head start. Um, so yeah, the book is just talking about empowerment. My chapter particularly talks about mental health and beauty standards. I feel like that's something that I struggled with growing up. So just to be able to write about it was just a nice little connection just because that's something I struggled with, which is why my senior project was also on mental health and beauty standards as well.
Wow. How did you ever feel, because I love your messaging about trying to empower with beauty and beautiful. And of course, right, each of us can have a definition of what beauty is, but when did you know that you were beautiful? And let me just phrase that in such that it's not all about the physical, but when did you know that you were just beautiful as you are?
I would say high school, entering high school. I would say actually I'll shorten it down to COVID. Um, COVID I feel like was a big reflection point for myself, which I think it was for everybody. We were in isolation, really nowhere to go. And COVID I think was, yeah, I went through stuff when I was younger, but COVID was a really hard hitting point for me. Um, I think in a sense, I always knew I was pretty outside, but I always knew I felt like I wasn't pretty. Um, but a big part of that too is your mindset. If you don't think you're pretty, you're not going to be pretty. People are going to see you how you present yourself. So if you're walking around with the mindset of, oh, I'm not pretty, I'm not beautiful, that's what they're going to see. People see the inside. To me, I would like to say I see the inside of someone before I look at their outer appearance. So your inside shines out, and that's what they see. That's what draws people to you. So I would say COVID definitely was a point where I identified myself as beautiful on inside and outside because I worked on how I viewed myself. I worked on how I viewed others. I worked on the characteristics of myself that I felt were not beautiful. I worked on like, and that's whether I gossiped, whether I talked about people, just in its entirety, because those are the things that add to you being beautiful. Not just a sense of like, oh, I have my hair done, I have a beautiful clear skin face, I dress this type of way. It's how you treat people, how you act in certain situations, your mannerisms, and all the things like that. So those are the things I had to take a look on the inside and like, well, maybe I don't see myself as beautiful because these things are ugly about myself. So yeah.
Wow, 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 Eliza. That was so powerful what you just shared with us. And I mean, during just that was just recently during COVID. So all the times prior, you didn't see yourself as being as beautiful as you learned to be during the pandemic.
I mean, I feel like everyone thinks they're beautiful to an extent, but I don't think I could ever really claim that I was beautiful in everything that I do. And just because I also didn't see my flaws as beautiful. So like even the things that I didn't like about myself that are perfectly normal and okay, are beautiful. That's as simple as the way I think and the way I process. I didn't always like the way I thought, and like that would be a big argument that I would have with my dad of like, you don't understand how I think. And so because nobody understood how I thought it was a flaw and a characteristic that was ugly that I did not want to be a part of. Um, so I think then yeah, I saw myself as beautiful, but not accepting everything about myself that I did not like.
Wow. Eliza, listen, y'all. She's gonna have another slogan saying "My beautiful is beautiful" or "My flaws are beautiful." I don't know, but all I know is I love the progression of who you are and learning more about who you are. And I love, Eliza, how you talked about even the things that were considered flaws are beautiful, are something that is a part of, but I'm growing through them. I'm getting better. And I love how you talked about, right, learning how not to gossip or not to do that, because you know what? That those things will help me become even more beautiful in terms of who I am as a person. I love that, Eliza. So I'm gonna give you applause on that. I love, yes, yeah, you have something more to say?
I also had to look at it from a standpoint of as I got closer with God, and like I think that's more of the standpoint that I started going on as I got stronger in my faith was I can't call something ugly that God created.
Wow,
So
wow.
say that I don't like what I see in myself when God created me, and those are the things that are part of me. So also switching your mindset at that point too, in a faith standpoint of it, of God created me and in his image I am beautiful. So I can't call something he created ugly when he created me to be me. He didn't create me to be somebody else. Who he created right here is all the flaws. He created all of that and he loves it. So why should I sit here and say, "Oh, I hate what you created?" No.
Wow, Eliza. Um, I know your mom's a pastor, right? You said your mom's a pastor?
She's a minister.
A minister. Okay, Miss Erica, she's coming. She's coming. I don't know. I don't know if that's her calling or what, but she's like, no.
Oh,
Listen, huh?
no, thank you.
Listen, Eliza, I'm telling you right now, it's actually the people who don't want the calling who actually are the called, right? That's who God wants, because those people will tend to not become prideful, right? Because it's not something that they aspire to do, and they'll stay humble because it's not what, and then they'll just follow what God said. So listen. I've been in the church and I've been a deacon for like 32 years, and people like, listen, I don't want certain things either, but as the Lord leads, you speak. But I'm telling you, what you shared is so powerful and uplifting to others, right? And what God has created, it's beautiful, right? No matter what form or shape it may take, right? But it's why? But I want to ask you this, Eliza, what is your why? Why the things that you've chosen to be a part of, right? Whether it's writing the part of the chapter about the mental health, and you talk about beautiful, you're doing track, you're taking psychology and mental. What is your why? What is driving you? What is motivating you to do all that you do in the areas in which you do it?
So I would say one, I love kids. Like I love children. Anybody that's close to me knows that I aspire to be a mom when I get married. Like I love kids. And so I think my why, my motivation comes from I would say my inner child. I want to be what I wanted to see when I was a kid. So I want to be the person that I would want to talk to when I was a kid for somebody else.
Wow.
Uh, just because I feel like sometimes growing up, I felt like I was silenced in certain areas just because I felt like a lot of people had a mindset of like, oh, you're just a kid, you don't know what's going on, you don't know what you're feeling. When it's completely the opposite. I think people underestimate how resilient young kids are. And like I look at my nieces and nephews and like I see it and I'm just like, they are intelligent, like they're smart. And so I think people underestimate kids. And so I feel like that in that they don't get hurt in a lot of things that they say and a lot of things that they feel, and then they don't know how to process it. And those kids that don't know how to process it become even more mixed up in emotions that they don't know how to process. And I want to be the person that can help a kid process through their emotions like I would have wanted to when I was a kid.
Wow.
So
Beautiful. I love that, Eliza. That is, such a wonderful why. I love your why. So listen, you're doing so much, and I love that with the children because young people is my calling, right? Youth and young adults is really something that I've been called to as well. And I got to ask you, you talked about your mental health, and you talked about being bullied when you were younger, and how how did you learn how to cope through those moments, or even to this day, right? Mental health is such a big topic for all of us, right? How do you learn when you hit those moments that are difficult, that are just seem like unbearable, or just what does Eliza do that helps her mental health and be able to stay strong and focused in those moments?
Um, One, I go to a Christian therapist, so I'm in therapy. I love my therapist. We honestly just she's more of a mentor now, more than she is my therapist, I would say. She's more of a mentor for me, but that's number one. Like I have a therapist, and especially a Christian one at that, because if I'm going through something and I forget to pray, she sits there and says, "Well, did you pray about it? Did you ask God about it?" So she keeps me accountable on that standpoint of things, but sometimes on my own account, I'll sit and I'll pray, but I think some people are ashamed to be like, "Oh, well, I go to therapy." I am not. I will full-fledged tell you I'm in therapy. That's what I do. And that's what helps. Sometimes I know like sometimes I just need a moment to myself. I just need to step away and just isolate myself and mentally fix myself and tell myself that I'm okay before I can go out into the world and, deal with what I'm dealing with. But I would say now this is usually the time where usually my emotions get back hectic. People say seasonal depression. And I would say for what's working for me right now, for not feeling that way, is really worshiping God every morning. Starting my morning off with playing worship music throughout my house and just singing and worshiping brings me so much joy throughout the rest of my day than
Wow.
I think I realized. But I did that before, but I don't think my heart was in it. And so now that my heart is fully in it, I'm noticing a difference in how my day goes. Things don't tick me off as much. Somebody can cut me off and I won't yell at them throughout the car. Like little stuff like that. So I think the difference of, yeah.
Wow, wow. I don't know if you're going on tour, like a speaking tour or something of that nature, but your voice needs to be heard in so many more arenas because I'm telling you, your testimony, your journey thus far, oh my goodness, Eliza, it is so inspiring. Um, Uplifting counseling, uplifting mental health, right? Because for some people, that's taboo, right? Like a therapist going to, right? But thank you for uplifting that. Thank you for letting people know it's okay, right? To talk to someone else. And I want to say this too, and I'll let you, is that thank you for uplifting the fact that counseling is even okay for those who have a relationship with God, right?
Yep.
So thank you, because some people feel like, well, no, I'll just talk to God and then that's it, I'm good. Well, for some people that may be true, right? But for other people, they may need, because God gave us doctors, God
Yeah.
gave us therapists, right? God gave us, and so if you have a heart problem, you're going to a heart specialist. If you have a right, and so thank you for uplifting that. I don't want to cut you off. Do you have more to say on that?
Yes. So I would say when I was in the process of going to therapy during COVID, someone had said to like, oh, well, you don't need therapy. You just need to go talk to God.
Hmm.
But I think people forget, like how you were saying, when you need a doctor for your heart, you go to a heart doctor. And I think people forget like therapists, there are some people who God put that in them to do that. And you're not going to know how to process your emotions and your feelings on your own. Like you didn't go to school to learn about all the feelings. You don't learn about the feelings until you go through them. And some people just need people to go through them and explain it to them. And so I feel like it's a big cloud in churches when it comes to therapy. It's like, oh, well, you don't need therapy. You need to go to church. You need to pray. But it's like, yeah, you go to church and you pray, but sometimes you just need to seek wise counseling and somebody else That's someone that you can trust, someone that you know isn't going to steer you wrong.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow. Yes. Yes, Eliza. I love it. And not too long ago, before the pandemic, God gave us a broadcast to do, and it was really talking about, not telling people who come to us in need to just say, well, go pray about it, right? Like that's the answer, but we wanted to kind of share the importance of, like you said, just talking to people, right? Whether it's a therapist or a mentor or someone that you can confide in. And I tell people all the time, listen, we celebrate Moses, right? But in order for the victory to be won, if it wasn't for Aaron and Hur to uplift his arms and keep his arms lifted up, they would have lost the battle, right? So sometimes we need other people to help us in different times. But you don't hear a lot about Hur that much, but he was a part of that growth process and the victory process. So thank you, Eliza. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm telling you, I see you, whether it's on CNN, ABC, NBC, MSN, I don't know, but you may become this specialist that talks about the power of mental health, the power of just believing, just evolving, right? Never giving up. And those things that people say flaws, they're not flaws, right? They are part of who we are that makes us. Because if anybody said, oh, where are you going? I'm going to dwell inside the dirt, in darkness. But guess what? That's where the seed is broken, right? In the dirt, in the darkness, so that's where the root takes hold. So, thank you, Eliza. Thank you for sharing that. I'm just so in awe of you right now. I am just so inspired by you, and you are helping so many people just realize, what God has for us, yes, but he also has people around us too that are there to help us and to support us. So, wow. And again, you talked about your t-shirt, right? My mental is beautiful. How did you come up with those specific words?
Um, I honestly really could not tell you.
Wow.
It just came to me. So the drawing of the logo that's also in my business logo, that is a drawing that I drew in COVID that it's actually tattooed on my back. That drawing, I would say in every way is a representation of who I am. Like that drawing is a part of me. When I drew that, it was to describe me and how I viewed myself. Like that drawing is in its full entirety is me. Like I hand drew it. That drawing is me. Um and like so I think my mental is beautiful just came from I just said it one day and I was like, my mental is beautiful. And I was like, my mental is beautiful. I just kept saying it. I was like, my mental is beautiful. I came to my mom and was like, my mental is beautiful. And that's just how that became. It just came from just a random thought in my head. Um, Doing my senior project, I was just like, my mental is beautiful
Wow.
in every way. It's beautiful, whether it's down and depressed, whether it's up and happy, whether it's in the middle and doesn't know how it feels. Everything about it is beautiful. So yeah.
Well, Eliza, I want to just tell you, you are beautiful.
Thank you.
I know you don't have to hear it from me, or doesn't. You don't have to have someone to qualify it for you. But I'm telling you, you are truly beautiful. Your mental is beautiful. All of you is beautiful. And I'm just inspired by you. I am in awe of you, and I really want it. And I mean, I knew you were amazing, but just talking to you and hearing your words, it's even more powerful and life changing. So thank you for being who you are. And I gotta ask you, you talked about beautiful, but you have done so much of what people will consider in the world of beauty, right? You talk about magazine, you talk about Runway, you talk about being a model, and you have achieved so much, being published 6 times in a magazine, being the best teen runway model, of the year, being the International Beauty of the Year. Tell me about how because from hearing you, right? Some would think, how could someone have achieved that much and still be in the growth of understanding her beauty? How do you think, what do you think the judges, or what do you think the publishers saw in you that made them feel that you were worthy of all these honors?
Oh, okay. I'll highlight the International Beauty Competition for one. That and a lot of and the reason I'm going to say this is because when I tell people that I'm the International Beauty Model, the 25th one, their first thought is like, "Oh, you were in a beauty pageant." And I'm like, "No." That process and after winning it and just talking to everyone, that whole process is how they see you as a person. And all your main points come from your interview and also how you treat the people around you. So after winning the competition, I found out that there were little people planted throughout like hair and makeup and things like that to see whether we were on time, to see how we were treating the people around us and things like that. And it made me look at I knew what the competition was, but it gave me a whole different look of like, oh, there were like all these people observing me when I wasn't even paying attention to the fact that I was being observed.
Right.
So I think just viewing that is in that I did learn that it wasn't about how I necessarily looked on the outside. Yes, we had to present ourselves beautifully, but I think in that I learned like the beauty they're talking about is talking about who I am as a person, how I'm treating people, and like if I'm generally being myself. Because you know, there's some people where they'll come and put on a front of who they are, but they won't be their true authentic self. So I think what they saw in me was me just being the student that I am. I came to, I think the interview, I had no makeup on. I had my glasses on. I didn't have any contacts in. I had my glasses on and I was in school. I was sitting at the table waiting for my interview doing math homework. And they're looking at me like, "Oh, you're really about to," all the other people like, they're like, "You're really about to." I'm like, "Yeah, I have schoolwork to do. I have other things that are more important than being beautiful on the outside appearance. Like I have real life things to do." So I think they saw that side of me, which made them see like more into who I was as a person of like, wow, this is very, I don't know the word they would describe, but I think that's more so what they saw.
Wow. Well, listen, they saw right. They saw right because you are so deserving of every honor that is bestowed upon you, because I love the word that you used about being authentic. Can you tell me, Eliza, were you always authentic, do you feel? Or because so many of us growing up, right, we want to be liked, we want to be a part, we want to feel a part, right? Because that belonging, those who are into the social work field or the counseling know that the importance of the feeling of being a part of groups, of feeling belonging and worthy. um but do you feel like you've always been authentic, or were there times where you feel like you kind of have, and I've heard people call it as a mask, right? You put on the mask because you want to make sure that you fit in with different groups and don't stand out. But tell me about your evolution in regards to you knowing the importance of being authentic.
Um, I would say I definitely did try to fit in, grow like as a kid. I think I learned that I needed to be authentic when I was tired of being somebody else that was not myself. So, I think that's where the part of me learning that I'm just supposed to be me, regardless of whether people like me or not. Just because I feel like as a kid, I always tried to fit into the circles, always tried to keep up with the people that I was friends with, but after you get tired of that, it's just like, okay, if I'm tired of being somebody else, they're not gonna, I'm at that point, I'm done being that person. So they're gonna leave whether they like it or not. Whether they like who I am, they'll leave, whether they stay. And then that's when my mom was like, "Well, you have friends for a season, a reason, and a lifetime." And I've had friends for a season, I've had friends for a reason, and I have one friend that has been around for a lifetime.
Wow.
I
Wow. Wow.
many friends I have, I'm going to tell you one. I'm going to tell you I have one friend.
Wow.
So,
Wow. Well, I don't know about a friend, but and I don't know how many cheerleaders you have on the sidelines cheering you, but I'm gonna raise my hand and say I'm cheering for you. I am a fan of you, of yours, and I am in your cheering section. I am whatever I can do to be a support to you and all that you aspire to do and be. Please just know that you have a fan all the way from New Jersey that I am just so proud of you. So proud of you. I can't even begin to say. And so, uh, you know, with all that you just shared, I'm asking myself, you're also a CEO of a
mhm.
what what inspired that part of your journey to become a CEO of your own company?
Um, so both of my sisters are CEOs. They both have their own entrepreneurship company. But I think also too, I used to see my mom go around and sell Tracy Lynn jewelry. And I was always selling something. In my head, when I was thinking back, I'm like, oh, COVID, I just found something to do. But when I look back, I'm like, no, I was always on the corner in the summer making cookies and lemonade and selling it to everyone I saw. I always had that drive and that ambition to do something. And so it started off with Liza's Angel looks, which stemmed off from COVID. I just did lip gloss, and then it stemmed into Shea Butter. And then I'm like, okay, I can't be Liza's Angel looks forever. I want to evolve into something more to where I can have other things and do other things under it, whether I want to name it something else. And so that's when Eliza Marie's Empire came in because I want to be able to build, even though I know it's going to take a while, I want to be able to build myself up to where my family doesn't have to worry about anything. When I have kids, they don't have to worry about anything. I can set them up the way they need to be set up so they know you can do whatever you choose to do, whether you choose to go to college, whether you choose to be an entrepreneur, whether you choose to go straight from high school into an Olympic sport. Whatever you choose to do, I want to be able to be the person that can support them and
Wow.
literally be their number one cheerleader.
Wow. Wow, Eliza. I love it. I love your inspiration. I love your strength. I love your tenacity. I love your perseverance. I love your drive. I love your push. I love all of that. That is so awesome and inspiring. Um, you've talked about a number of things thus far that you've had to face, right? From being bullied to, again, the words that people would say to you and various things of that nature. Is there something that that stands out above those in regards to challenges that you've faced and that you've had to overcome or even manage, right? Because sometimes people think that we overcome things and we never experience them again, we never encounter them again. Whereas some things we have to continue to always be mindful of, right? And I tell people all the time, growing up, I stuttered as a child. So growing up, I really couldn't talk, elementary, junior high, right? But because I speak all the time, right, that focus of my voice is always there, right? And when you get too nervous or this, but has there been something in your life that you have faced that you quite didn't know if you would ever overcome or get through, but you did?
Mm, I would say being comfortable in my disabilities, I would say. I think that's something that I've always tried to hide. Granted, I don't wear my hearing aids all the time, but that's sometimes places are too loud, so I really don't know how I have hearing loss because sometimes I go somewhere, it's too loud, for number one. But I think now, it's just being comfortable in my disabilities and like not feeling like I have to hide it from someone just to be liked. So like even when I don't wear them, like before I used to be so scared. If I can't hear someone, I generally will just avoid it and try to read their lips the best I can. But now I'm at a point where I'm like, excuse me, I can't hear you. Like, do you mind turning and facing me? I can't really hear when your back is turned towards me. That's something I dare not to do in public anywhere I go, if I wore my hearing aids or not. Um, so I think being comfortable and being able to advocate for myself when it comes to my disabilities, whether that's hearing aids or like asking for help in a class or out in public of like, oh, can you explain this better? I don't really understand it that much. That's something that I was always ashamed to do as a kid. So yeah.
Wow, wow. And your abilities are truly inspiring the world. And
Thank you.
I can't even, I don't want to get emotional because I don't get too much, I don't get on my podcast, but I am just truly inspired by who you are, Eliza.
Thank you.
Not, I mean, things that you've done is one aspect, but simple, but the fact of who you are is it's a joy. It's a joy seeing you and hearing you, and I can't wait to see what's next for you. Your story needs to be. I don't know. Are you writing a book about your journey thus far?
In a, uh, I would say yes and no to that question. So
Okay.
my second is titled Not in My Head. Um, and I would say underlining kind of, it's more of a poetry styled book. It definitely ties into a lot of the writings that I did when I was a kid in my phone, a lot of the things that like have my raw emotion in it. So I would say kind of each section is titled different. They're borderline about me, but it's me narrating somebody else, but it never says a name. It just doesn't say a name, but it's like I'm narrating, I think in third person. I think so. Third person. So it never once says me or my name. It's just a character. It has some things in my life. I think there's still some things that I'm not ready to share yet. Um that I still haven't shared. There's still some things that like I have to get to a certain point to where I can share them. So yeah, so I think there's still some things that I'm not ready to share yet, and I'm still figuring out how to share them, with certain things that I've also went through. But I guess yes and no, it's kind of about me, but selective parts that I choose.
Well, all I know, Eliza, is that it will be a number one bestseller. I mean, I have no doubt that your journey is just such an inspiring, and thank you for sharing your abilities, right? Thank you for sharing them with us because so many people, as you said, I can imagine what that was like at that time, trying to experience, and I know what fear is like. I know what it is to not even think that I can even have a job or have a life because I thought I couldn't talk, right? So I can only imagine with your abilities, in terms of that experience was like. But thank you so much for your transparency and your authenticity. Thank you for sharing that because so many people, how many young people are experiencing that same thoughts
Mhm.
and feelings, but never, or have yet, I should say never, have yet to become comfortable enough in their abilities to move forward. And so thank you for not allowing your abilities to not continue to show that you are such a beautiful and amazing individual and that the world needs you. The world needs to hear your voice. So thank you so much, Eliza. Um, so is there, tell me about your vision board. We're almost done, but is there any more that do you have specific goals that you want to achieve, whether it's in education, whether it's in sports, or whether it's in modeling, or whether it's in authorship? Do you have any specific goals that we haven't talked about that you want to share with us that's on your vision board that you're allowed to share at this time?
I would say modeling definitely has been put on hold right now, just because my education is my priority. Um, I would say right now my goals and the things that I want. So I don't think I shared this, but I want to get my bachelor's early. So that's why I'm taking 6 classes. Uh, so yeah, I want to graduate early with my bachelor's so that I can come back and get my master's while I'm still running track. But I also do want to get my doctorate in psychology. So yeah, I do want to go all the way as far as getting my doctorate. Let's see. Track, I just want to have fun and do the best that I can do and break while we're at it. Maybe go to the Olympics. I haven't
Yeah.
just that's something that I want to do or not. And lastly, definitely publish my second book. Um, I'm trying to speed write, but you can't rush the writing process. Your creativity comes when it comes and goes when it goes. So, yeah.
Wow, I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, listen, everybody, please meet Dr. Eliza Marie Hildreth. So, Dr. Eliza, so I'm gonna finish the broadcast by calling you Dr. Eliza. Listen, if you ever come to New Jersey and you're on break and you want to do a photo shoot, I got you. So I would love to be able to. So I'll gift that to you. But just so proud of you, and all of who you are becoming. And is there more that you want to share with us? But before I go there, um, I always ask this question of our guests, that if you met a person or like a young person who did not believe in their dreams and just quite can't see their dreams coming to pass, what would you say to them to encourage them to not give up on their dreams?
Ooh. Number one, you are enough.
Wow.
You are enough. You are able to do everything that you want to do, no matter how big, how small, how medium. You are able to do everything that you want to do while being 100% yourself, without having to change, without having to compromise or sacrifice any of the things that you want. If you dreamed it and that's what you know you want, you can do it no matter who tells you you can't, no matter who tries to stop you. And if they don't want to support you, don't let them. You continue to do it anyway. And sometimes your number one supporters are going to come from the outside, and that's okay. There are going to be people who don't want to see you win, but you're going to win anyway. And as long as you know that you're going to win anyway and you keep that mindset and you pray and you talk to God and focus on yourself most importantly too. Don't compromise what you want for anybody. You'll do great. Yeah.
You heard it from Dr. Eliza. You heard it. Yes, you did, y'all. I'm telling you. Listen, that was wonderful. And again, so awe-inspiring. And so I am so grateful for you. Is there more that you want to share with us before I go on to our last 2 questions? Is there more about your journey that we have not talked about that you want to share with us and share with the world?
Let's see. I think that was all of it. think I sometimes forget some of the things that
Listen, this is not gonna be the last time, so don't worry. As long as you're willing, I'll have you back when you begin that next business venture, CEO, and become Fortune 500. Come on back. I got you. When you win that Olympic medal, I got you. When you become the next top model and the highest paid model in the world, I got you. So don't worry. If we forget now, I'll bring you back so we can talk more. We can talk more. We can talk more. Well, is there anything else you want to share with us before I ask my final couple of questions?
I think that's it. Uh, I loved being here. Uh, and I definitely do want to do more speaking engagements. Um, I do like that. So yeah.
Yes. Well, listen, all I can say to you is please do that. Please, don't. I'm always telling young people, don't wait for people to knock on your door. You go knock on their door, right? Until you have a door for yourself, and then you can let others in. But until that time, and you want to speak to that group or that group, hey, put a packet together, Dr. Eliza, or soon to be, right? And a brochure together, like, this is who I am. This is my story. And I want to come into whatever space that exists that I can share my story. Listen, and I'm telling you, there are people who get paid, not that you do it for money, but you should be compensated, right? For your knowledge. But I'm telling you, whether it's a mental health conference through your state Department of Mental Health, whether it's the Office of, which I don't like the word, but Office of Disabilities, of this or that. But yes, I have something to say, because all of them have conferences, right? They have conferences where they bring all of the top people together annually. And I think I can't wait to see your name on the billboard. That's all I know, Dr. Eliza. So I got to give you space to be able to share about people that have helped you become who you are thus far. Sometimes people don't want to say nothing because they don't want to forget people's name, but I want to give opportunity that if you want to give a shout out to anyone that has been an inspiration to you or helped you to become who you are, I'd like to give that space to acknowledge them at this time, if you'd like to do so.
I'm gonna keep it short and simple because, like you said, I would be the person to forget somebody's name. So, I'm just gonna highlight my mom, of course, my dad, my family, my siblings. They are definitely my number one supporters, especially my mom and dad. They hop on every bandwagon I decide to start, and they full-fledged go supportive parents, in anything that I choose to do. So definitely my parents and my family. Um, Let's see. I want to give out shout out to my Aunt Sonia in particular. That's where my creativity definitely learned how to blossom. She, from when I was young, they say I act like her a little bit, but from when I was young, she's very creative, and I've always seen her do crafts. I've always seen her do conferences. I've always seen her do something, whether that's dance and streamers, flags, something. I've always seen her doing that, and just having her in my life growing up definitely highlighted a lot of my creativity and made me feel comfortable in being my creative self and everything that I choose to do. So yeah, I'm gonna keep it short and simple. Everyone know who you are. I tell you guys I love you and that you guys support me no matter what. So yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Again, so proud of you. Where can people find you? Where can they connect people if they want to invite you to that conference to speak? Their girls group. Oh, wait a minute, y'all. Before we go there, you were how have you? I read in your bio that you held like girls conferences, and
Yeah.
let's share more about that, please, before we go.
I haven't done one in a while. I do want to do another one. I was talking to my mom about it last year, but yes, when I was in, I would say maybe middle school, elementary school, I held conferences at my church. Heart of Truth Ministries, is where I go to church, and they definitely helped with all the conferences. I think I've held like two or three maybe. But yeah, I held girl conferences. Like I would plan them and sit down with my aunt and my mom and plan how I wanted them along. I think I did one or two alongside of Jada. And we planned them together when we were kids and had other kids come. We got to pick the speakers, our activities, the gift bags, all of that. But yeah, I definitely do want to do another one. Especially because now that I'm more mature in myself and I'm able to speak myself, I definitely do want to hold another one.
Awesome. Well, listen, all I can say is whatever you aspire to do, Dr. Eliza, you will do phenomenal because it is your calling, it is your destiny. And please keep me posted about new ventures, things you're doing, because I want to support you as best as I can in all that you do. And, where you are is not too far away. So, I'm sure that my wife would love to take a ride on a road trip to help to support, in any way that you can. But we're so proud of you, so
Thank
proud
you.
of you. And I'm going to give you any final words before I give my final words and final remarks, but any final words that you want to share with us.
Uh, I loved being here. I had a great time talking with you. Am I supposed to tell them? Should I tell them where to find me?
Yes. Oh, yes, please. Thank you, Dr. Eliza. See, there you go. Co-host, Dr. Eliza. Yes, please tell us, where can people connect? Where can they invite you to the conference, to be a speaker, or to do whatever project they're working on? Where can they find you?
Okay, so on Instagram, I'm trying to do better with being more active on my Instagram page, but you can follow me at underscore dot Eliza, Elica, dot Marie, Marie, dot underscore on Instagram. I'm trying to get better with being on there. But if you cannot find me on there, you can definitely follow me on TikTok, whereas where I'm normally at, it's the one and only underscore Eliza Marie. And for any business opportunities that you guys would like to invite me to, um, it's my email is lizasangellooks@gmail.com, which is also in my Instagram bio.
You heard it, everyone. You heard it from Dr. Eliza Marie Hildreth. Listen, everybody, thank you so much, Eliza, Dr. Eliza. I am so proud of you. I am so in awe of you. I thank God for you. You are a blessing. You are a miracle. You are just a jewel to the world. Please continue to raise your voice, share your voice. The world needs to hear you, see you, feel the presence of who you are, to know that there's something greater in them that you saw in yourself, and to let others know to not give up on their dreams, no matter what their challenges may be in life, right? To know that something greater is coming out of that. Thank you for continuing to grow and inspire and aspire. Be your authentic self even the more, Dr. Eliza. You are phenomenal, you are precious, and you are priceless. Thank you so much for giving up your time. And I'm honored and honored and honored to have you on our broadcast. I can't wait to get your autograph one day. I can't wait to get a selfie one day. I can't wait to meet you in person one day. But whatever our paths take, I'm honored for this moment. Thank you so much. Thank you to your mom. Thank you to your dad. Thank you to your aunt, your whole family, everybody that has poured into you, because you are pouring into the world. Thank you so much, Dr. Eliza. Thank you so much. It's an honor. Thank you so much. Everybody, listen, Inspiration with Troy Alexander. We come on to inspire you to never give up on your dreams. Our motto is dream, take that step, and walk with purpose into your destiny. Thank you so much. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. And we'll see you next time. Thank you, Dr. Eliza, so much. Have a great evening, everybody.
A good one.